If you are looking to remodel and then to sell, you may not be doing what buyers are looking for, and then you are wasting your money. Hey, it's me, Katie. So should you remodel or should you move? So I've worked with many buyers over the years, and everybody has their own reason for wanting to move. I'll tell you a story about a client that I had that really did want to move. They felt that their house wasn't exactly what they were looking for, and in order to make it what they were looking for, it was going to cost them a lot of money, like $500,000, in order to update the house. And part of the problem is the house was older, and so it had an older basement. And the basement was really not conducive to what they wanted in their home. It wasn't something that they could actually update with their basement. They could update the rest of the house, but they couldn't update the basement. So we started looking at houses, and one thing that they loved about their current home was the location. It was super private, really wonderful location for their family, their lifestyle. It just really, really worked for them. Some people may choose to remodel because they want to customize the house exactly the way that they want it, and they cannot find another house out there that works for them. They want to make it what they want to make it. So there's some reasons that somebody may choose to move rather than to remodel. And one of those is that remodeling can disrupt your whole life. It can make it very difficult, especially if you've got maybe young children, you're very busy, maybe you're a two-household working family, and you need to oversee contractors. You need to get the kids food. You need to be in and out of the house all the time. And if you have a kitchen remodel that is undergoing for 3 to 6 months, that can cause a lot of family stress. And so some people choose to move rather than remodel because of the stress that it will cause their family. You also need to think about the budget considerations. So some people may not have the amount of cash needed to do the remodel, because you do need a lot of money actually for a remodel, and you probably will need cash. Sometimes it's hard to finance that. After people go and get their prices from their contractors about how much it's going to cost to remodel their home, they realize that they may not get out what they put into it. And that is another reason why somebody may choose to move rather than remodel. So as you're going to make your decisions, I want you to think about the following things. First of all, what is your budget? Do you have the cash? How much is it going to cost you to remodel versus how much is it going to cost you to move? I want you to have a clear vision of what the renovations look like for you when you're finished, because you may say, hey, we want to remodel our whole kitchen. You spent all this money on your kitchen, but then you realize maybe your laundry room is not updated or your master bathroom is not updated. Are you going to want to do that as well? I call it scope creep. So scope creep is when you actually start on a small project and then you end up doing more and more projects because the scope has just crept and gotten away from you. We did this when our deck needed to be replaced on our house. And of course, the deck was a very big project and it was going to be expensive. But then we thought, well, gosh, wouldn't it be even better if we added a sunroom off of the deck? And as we started to talk about it, it grew and grew and grew. And we eventually added this beautiful sunroom off of our house that was attached to the deck. You also want to consider how many more renovations do you have to make, even if you do your updates in your house. So let's say you redo your kitchen or you bump out the addition. Are you going to have to add a new roof? Are you going to have to replace your furnace and air conditioner? How many additional things will you have to do if you update that one room or if you update that whole house? That is what I call scope creep. I also want you to think about your long-term plans. How long are you going to be there? Is it going to be worth it for you to live there maybe for the next 5 years in the lifestyle that you want? You want it to be happy. You want it to be comfortable for you. Is that worth it to do that? Is your long-term plan to stay there? Are you thinking maybe you might have to age in place? Are you thinking you're going to need a first floor primary bedroom? I don't know. I want you to think about what are those long-term plans for you. And here's a really big one. You've got to start looking at the market conditions. You can't go into this just saying you're going to do a remodel without understanding the implications of the market. What does this mean in your market if you go and do this remodel? Also, what is your market doing right now? Are lumber costs up? Are they down? Is the market really high where maybe you could get a tremendous amount of money for your house right now? Or is it too low where you do have to remodel? This is one of the biggest things I want you to think about that you may not really be understanding is what are the current market conditions that you are dealing with right now. So let's talk about moving. If your market is really strong right now, you may want to consider moving because you are going to get a high price for that house. And so if you're okay with remodeling, you may be okay buying a different home that needs a complete update that you're getting a deal on in a hot market and updating that one. So you want to look at what is the investment on your home right now. Can you cash out for a high amount? Look at all the options. Look at your market right now and determine if it's a strong market. If it's a really weak market, you may not be able to sell your house for the amount of money that you want to do for it. And then you may be forced into actually remodeling. The other thing to think of is that when you do go to remodel and you're taking out some type of a home equity loan or some other loan, you are going to have to get an appraisal on your home because your bank will require some type of an appraisal. So you want to know, is the market down enough where the home is going going to allow you to appraise. You really need to keep that in mind. And this is what happened a lot in the bubble in 2008, is the homes started falling in price and they could not be appraised for the amount that they were purchased for. Therefore, the banks would not re-up the loans. Now, the same thing can come into play if you're looking for some other type of loan or a home equity loan on your home, because you're not going to be able to get the home equity line if your appraisal will not come out probably where you purchased the home. So you want to make sure you understand where's your home going to appraise as well. Here's the biggest reason why you may stay versus move, or move versus stay. And that's because of the location that your home is in. Many people will stay in the home on the street that they've lived in for many years just because of their neighbors. And I find that maybe once one of the neighbors move, then a lot of people move because they realize their home is not as great if they don't have their neighbors around. So you really need to look to see, is there a way for you to duplicate your location? There may not be. So that may be one of the largest factors in whether you choose to move or remodel. So if you were looking for new, then you got to look for new. There is no way to duplicate an old house to make it new because of the way the home was built. So for example, basements that are older have very, very low ceilings. You really, unless you're going to dig out the basement, which you can do, but it's very costly, cannot increase the height of that ceiling in the basement. So if you've decided that you want new, then most likely you're going to have to move, because most likely you will never be happy with your current home and remodeling it. As you embark down this path of should you remodel or should you move, I'm going to give you some tips on how to go about this. What do you need to do? I want to make sure that first you're talking to all of the experts. And of course, you're going to say, the first person I'm going to call is a contractor. Then the second person is an architect. You're going to talk to all these people. You're going to talk to a designer. But most people do not talk to a real estate agent. And I don't know why that is. I don't know why real estate agents are not considered to be the same as financial planners. Meaning you have a financial planner who's helping you in your life, giving you guidance. Whether or not you're actively trading at that moment, a real estate agent can give you advice on what is the market doing. And if you make that addition, if you do something to your house, an update that is changing the structure of the house, is it going to change the value of the home? Is it going to potentially make it unsellable at some point in the future? That's why it is so important to bring in a real estate agent early on, to make sure that agent is guiding you through that remodel process. Also, what agents are pretty good at is telling you how much potentially a home remodel is going to be. While I am not a contractor, I am not an architect, I can usually give a rough estimate within $50,000 how much a remodel is going to be based upon what the sellers are saying that they want the home to look like. So an agent can even avoid all of the contractor conversation, the architects, and give you that big round number and say, okay, I think it's going to cost you about $300,000 to remodel your home. If you remodel your home for $300,000, I can tell you, you will never get it out on this street in this location. Maybe it's because they back up to a train or they're on a busy street. They will never get out what they put into it. Now, if that's okay for the sellers, that's fine. But you need to keep in mind that that agent is going to be able to guide you exactly on, is it worth it or is it not? One call, that agent can help you. And if you haven't done this yet, no matter what, whether you're thinking about remodeling or moving, I want you to get an agent who will set you up on a market search. A market search is going to show you homes that are sold and active right in your tight neighborhood, because you are going to get these on an ongoing basis. And you may think, oh my gosh, that house down the street sold for that? Well, then we're never getting what we want for our house. You have to know what the market is doing. Just the way you follow the stock market, you have to follow the housing market. This is easy and this is simple, and any agent can help you do it. If you want a market search set up, you absolutely can reach out to me and I will introduce you to an agent specifically in your area who can set up a market search so that you know what homes are coming on the market and what homes have sold directly in your neighborhood. So when you're ready to sell, you will have an idea of how much your home is worth. The other thing I want you to think about is when you go to remodel, if you do not have that expert advice from your real estate agent, you may not be putting into the home what buyers are really looking for. Your tastes are not buyers' tastes. If you've watched my videos, you know that I talk about this all the time. If you are looking to remodel and then to sell, you may not be doing what buyers are looking for, and then you are wasting your money. There is so much to talk about with the remodeling versus moving and what your updates are. And I do a lot of videos on the updates and what you should do, what you shouldn't do. And I am all for updates if you're planning on staying long-term in your house, because you should be happy with what you do for you. However, you need to make sure that if you are thinking of selling in the next few years and you're doing these updates thinking it's going to bring you value, you will not know until you get that agent looking at your house in that specific market who knows exactly what they're doing. I'm more than happy to introduce you to an agent right in your area. Just shoot me an email below or go ahead and download my seller's playbook. It's going to give you all the colors that you need to paint in your house if you're thinking about selling. In addition, it's going to show you the high cost, low return updates that you should not be making and the low cost, high return updates that you absolutely should be making if you're thinking about selling. Okay, that's it for today. I've got a lot of great videos about updating your home. If you are thinking about selling, I want to help you sell your home easier, quicker, and for more money. So please make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. I don't want you to miss anything that's coming out. Thanks for watching, and if you know, you know.